which is done courtesy of my friend Phantom Shadow. Because I could show you a bunch of videos, or I could just put one Phantom Shadow meme up, and you'll understand the dynamics of what was going on in Washington, D.C. last night. I feel like that was a pretty good recap of last night in D.C. as a bunch of pro-Palestinian supporters attempted to break into the Democrat National Committee's building in Washington, D.C. Matt, is that an insurrection, or what do we... They arrested one guy, by the way.
Yeah.
6 officers received medical attention for serious varying minor to serious injuries. 1 arrest. 1 person.
Are
they eating their own?
I am so anti-war.
Yes.
And I'm not anti-military action. Right. I loved what Trump did in 2017 when there was a little buildup going in Afghanistan. He went in there, dropped the Moab, mother of all bombs, and it was done.
Done.
Hey, boom, cut this shit out, and it was over.
I think the Moab killed 1,400 jihadis that were inside of a cave system, done. And it torched them instantly and ended the...
One day over.
Gone.
This prolonged war and prolonged of citizens and prolonged of just normal people,
right?
Even if they're the enemy, I think it's wrong.
Yes.
Because it just extends it. It creates more activists. It creates more terrorists.
Yep.
I like the Trump approach. Just drop it once and move on to another day.
My favorite was the Ginsu bomb on Soleimani. Yeah. Remember, he dropped the Ginsu bomb and had the blades. They turned him into hamburger meat. Right inside of his Jeep, just fucking... And I was like, well, that's it. Because now... And he's such a fucking beast. He's like, oh, this guy's revered, and you have a certain way you wanted to bury him? How about now?
Yeah.
Like,
boom,
dude.
over.
How about now? Ginsu bomb. Flop.
I think that this is a really good... I think this is an opportunity.
Okay.
Because although they seem like very pro-Palestine, the reality is that they're young. They're anti-war.
So you think that... Okay, that's an interesting conversation. So your theory on some of these people isn't necessarily that they're pro-Palestine and that they're supporters of Hamas. They're just taking the position of being anti-conflict and violence.
Correct.
And they happen to be on a very unpopular side of the issue, given Hamas murdered all those people.
Yeah, they see that one side is big and one side is considered the underdog, because it is.
Right.
And there is this youthful bleeding heart for the underdog.
Right.
And I think if there was a push or a narrative to say, hey, just stop war, I think you would get a lot of those people and they would become interesting allies.
Well, that's because and I think that's where Trump sits, where he goes, I just want people to stop killing each other.
Yeah. I love doing
What a provocative statement.
Yeah.
Where do you stand on the issue? Here's the weird part is too, and I'm not a expert by any stretch on Middle East politics, but what I don't understand on the bleeding heart leftist side of this argument is how do you just arrive at we don't want Israel to attack Palestine without addressing that whole 1,000+ people that were murdered and raped like a month ago, and we have videos of the whole fucking like it's like Israel didn't wake up and go, hey, let's fucking it was like no, they woke up, they sent a bunch of people to music festivals and different shit, and then a lot of people died and got tortured, and it was horrific, and we have viral videos of it, and that's where the conflict began. I mean, it's weird that they can suspend that first part to hold this position of like, how do you have a virtuous position when your position is quite literally, I don't think there should be consequences for the people that did the thing that they did? I mean, am I missing something?
I try to think from their perspective. Right?
Okay.
I try to understand like how one person could be that way. And if you just take in what they hear, which is that there is a group of people and those people are feeling oppressed and they are being killed, and they look at their lives and they also feel oppressed because a lot of these bleeding heart liberals aren't living the best lives. The ones rioting in DC, they're not coming from like the best areas of town.
Right.
These aren't the elite liberals.
No.
These are the oppressed liberals. So they relate to them. They relate to that story. They feel like, hey, we're the minority and they're the minority, they're getting bombed. We're the minority, we feel oppressed.
So you think they're so simple in the fact that they just simply take up the position
they just
of whoever
relate.
they perceive to be smaller and getting squished?
I think there is a
regardless
movement,
of attitudes.
I think there's a movement around the younger people. There's always been a movement around the younger people to kind of just be anti-establishment,
right,
and to just fight back and to just be a little more emotional and try to connect more with people. I get that. I understand that.
Is it possible, and this is only because I know Phantom Shadow's in my chat and he doesn't agree with anything we're saying right now.
Yeah, I agree.
And I have a feeling I know what he thinks. Is it possible that they could be fucking retarded?
I think it's a combination of both. That, yes. But if you understand that, then how do you use that? Maybe not to your advantage,
right?
But how do you be empathetic to the fact that maybe they don't know what they don't know?
Can I offer up my first piece of evidence supporting my argument of fucking retarded?
Okay.
You're gonna need. Well, you might not want the headphones for this, but we're gonna play it anyway.
We're outside the DNC. We're outside the Democratic Party headquarters because this party claims to be on the side of life and peace and equality, and we're saying that we want them to live up to their values. And
I don't know why this is so funny.
And call for a ceasefire now, and we're being responded to by the police shoving anti-war activists down the stairs, shoving peaceful protesters back with their bikes, and because our party that 80% of us want a ceasefire, would rather beat up protesters.
Hold on, to be continued. One second.
Hold on, there's somebody getting thrown down the stairs. All right, that's enough. That's enough of that. All right.
So, I mean, is she manic? Yes. Is she retarded? Yes. Is she losing grasp of the
Hold
reality?
on. The chat also is catching other details, which is they don't believe any of this is organic because they all have matching printed T-shirts up all ready to go with professionally done signs.
Correct.
So they're also, I think the chat is more leery of the bleeding heart agenda simply because the level of financial backing it has and the organizational aspect. And that's where you start to go, like hippies, it was obvious, right? A hippie group, you looked, bunch of homemade signs. There is no uniform of any kind present, right? In the 60s, it was like, this guy looks weird. That girl's got this. She's half naked, right? It was very clear.
They had the tie-dye.
Yeah, right.
It's kind of uniform.
But the signs were painted a certain color and like. But dude, when I see fucking professional thick signs with professional printed shirts with an organizational structure for the arrival, dude, I don't think that doesn't feel organic at all. I think that's what the chat's saying.
Well, but if you kind of break away all of the glitter of it, and if you try to listen to what she was saying, right? Which is the talking points probably she was given,
Yes.
which is the people don't want it and the party is doing it. So what you're seeing is a strife between the party.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Totally. Which is great.
And I think when you see the crack in kind of their party, even if it doesn't, even maybe we don't agree, it's like the enemy of your enemy is your friend.
Yes.
And the point is that no, we need to win this next election, no matter what.
No matter whose votes you're getting.
Maybe reaching out to them that's against what's going on. They're against the establishment. Maybe we don't
voter
agree that-
issue where you go, we agree. Trump is the peacetime president.
Correct.
And
If
doesn't
we
believe in
lean
war.
on that, if Trump was here, there'd be no war, and people in Palestine and Israel would not be dying.
And you can prove that point with his previous
Yeah.
track record.
And I think that's something that you could get that side over.
Right.
And then we'll go back to fighting afterwards. But I think getting him in office and winning the next election is more important than trying to fight our social battles now. Right now, it's win first, and then everyone go back to your
1000% agree
respective
with
sides,
you. Yep.
and we'll duke it out again. But right now, if they're almost giving you the window, an opportunity to say,
Yeah.
hey, we're available right now. We're
Yeah.
for sale.
Yeah, you're right.
I think it's foolish for us to say, oh, they're stupid. They don't know what the hell to talk about. I think it's a missed opportunity.
I think you're making some very valid points. The biggest, most valid point is if you don't want young people to die in wars, elect
Yeah.
Donald Trump.
Correct.
That's it. You don't have to add anything else. Just let that be your argument to somebody. Hey,
No more war.
whatever you think about Trump socially, he's gonna make sure that you get to have that argument stateside rather than being shipped overseas.
I think the platform should be economy and no war. If you do that, I
Those
think
two
you
things
get,
alone, I think, win you the election.
I don't think you need anything else right now.
And Republicans got to shut the fuck up about abortion.
Correct.
Like immediately. You already got Roe v. Wade overdone. Like, stop.
Move on.
Move on. You
Move
fucking
on. I
let
agree.
them have
Move
their
on.
states' rights stuff. That's the way it's supposed to be set up. It's a
Yes.
federalist setup. We do
Yeah.
not want. That's where they're going to get their asses kicked because it was like 77% of voters
Yeah.
last week. It's still one of the biggest issues because they think that Trump's going to get in and ban abortion federally, nationwide. And Trump's like, it's a states' rights issue. I did my part. Roe v. Wade got overturned.
100%.
Republicans got to walk the fuck away from the abortion issue. You got your. It's like arguing with your wife too long. There's a point when you're like, you've won your argument.
Yeah.
Just set down the sword. Stop saying things back. She knows it. You know it. And now you just be nice again. Because if you keep talking, you're going to say something stupid and you're going to end up having to apologize eventually. Like, you got your win. Just push away from the table, right?
I truly believe that the government has too much power and that we should be taking away power from them.
Yes.
That they should only make decisions on things in our lives that maybe a majority of the country agrees with. Then I can see them getting involved to help things happen.
Right.
I think something like abortion. I'm avidly against abortion.
Right.
I don't agree with it at
Right.
all.
You're a big nuclear family guy. You
will
love kids,
never
love
convince
babies.
me
Yes.
that that's not killing. You will never. However, half the country doesn't believe what I believe.
Right.
And if half the country doesn't believe that, it's not the role of the federal government to come in and make that decision for you. It's so hypocritical to say, we don't want the government to get involved, but because I care about this issue, now we want the government to get involved.
Oh, it's dangerous. It's
dangerous.
precedent setting.
No matter what, they should not be involved and let us self-organize. And I think letting the states do it,
Yep.
I think that's how it was supposed to be. And
Yeah.
I am totally okay with it, even though I adamantly disagree with it.
It's a huge issue for you personally,
Yeah.
but you live in a state that reflects that value.
Correct.
And if maybe you sat on the other side of the equation and it wasn't, you felt the opposite, you could move to a state that is more in line with your thinking.
Yeah.
And that's the way this whole fucking system's set up. It was the original intent of what we have, right? A constitutional republic. I totally agree with you. I think Roe v. Wade overturned a failed, it should have never been ruled on in the first place. It was incorrectly ruled on to begin with. And it was only allowed to stay in place because of a million different reasons. But once that was done, it's a states' rights issue.
Yeah.
And so you can live in a state where, first fucking heartbeat and no more abortion. You can live in those states. 6 weeks in Florida. I think it's like 8 weeks or 12 weeks here in Georgia, right? It's very early on. Mississippi's got a really, good, very pro-life stance. But But then you got other states that they're like, hey, we're going to fucking, and you could live there. So I agree with that, dude. I think I like where your mind's at on winning. Like, I like that you're not being distracted, because it's how I am, dude. There are a lot of bullshit little like social issues that I'm like, that's the minutia. Fucking ignore it. The win is right here. Stay in the pocket. You got to win, because you can't even, if you don't win, and winning is about getting numbers, right? It's about like grabbing, and that's how Trump won in 2016. The silent majority wasn't a bunch of disenfranchised Republicans. The silent majority was a bunch of disenfranchised Republicans and moderate Democrats that were scared shitless of Hillary Clinton. Trump won in 2016 because moderate Democrats, 9 million of them, turned out to vote for him. And that's what shocked the world, which was like, oh my God, he grabbed everybody we stopped giving a shit about and got them to vote for one man, and he won. Yeah. And that's what 24 is going to be about. The silent majority has to show up, but this time it's going to be a different demographic. And like you said, those screeching harpies, they might be single issue voters. Maybe they don't know. Maybe they don't even give a shit about economic policies or know enough. All they know is they don't want to see dead people. Yeah. And so you just make the sales pitch. Trump's going to make sure there's no dead people. No one dies under Trump.
You'll have more money and you'll have peace. Like,
that's it.
Who doesn't want to get behind
peace
that
is
in
fucking
this day
popular,
and age?
Dude.
Yeah.
It always has been.
Yeah.
It's an incredibly popular position. And it's so rare, too, to have a guy that's like, I'm running on, I can provide peace, but I can actually show you my track record because I did it already. Like, it's not even theory. It's like, nah, dude, I did this shit already, right? So, interesting. All right, let's talk about this next subject. I had a meme with that one. I don't think I'm going to get to play it. Brandy, I'll play your meme tomorrow, honey. No, don't take offense. I'm just trying to...
Sorry, Brandy.
Sorry, Brandy. We have more topics I have to cover. And one of them is this. So, I mean, let's get into this, dude. This is pretty fucking wild. We'll start with the mainstream media cut, which is the APEC summit in San Francisco.